الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين آمين. Welcome you all. We'll do prayer according to Sunnah, and in this we'll cover a chapter of eminence and the importance of Salah, and also we'll do the Hadith and ayahs of the Quran. And this book I'm going to show you, inshallah. You can buy online, or you can get the PDF too. So if you need that book, just let me know. I can send you the detail of it, inshallah. So let's begin our session. Today we are starting with our prayer according to Sunnah. Let me share the PDF for you. That would make it easier, inshallah. So in this, let me share it. We'll see the importance of Salah, because Salah has so much importance, and in this we'll see the details of it. Why Salah is important. As we have seen in previous classes, Salah is so important. Like we have seen the longer hadith in which Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been given the Salah at the time of Isra and Miraj, and it was starting like 50 to 5. Musa Al Islam said your Ummah won't be able to do it, and later on it was shortened to 5. And after that, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I'm not going to go again because I feel shy to do that. So, just a quick review for the previous class what we have done. Salah, obligation, eminence, and importance. And this is the core. Salah is the plural of salawat. It has an exalted status in Islam that is unrivaled by any other act of worship. Salah is the pillar of Islam on which the religion is firmly established. Prophet ﷺ said, the head of the matter of religion is Islam, its pillar is the prayer. And the highest peak is the jihad for Allah's cause. Already we have done this, just a quick review. And in this surah we have seen فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَكُن مِّنَ السَّاجِدِينَ وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ. Glorify the praise of your Rabb and be of those who prostrate, do sujood themselves to him, and worship your Lord until there comes unto you the hour that is certain. And Salah is an obligation to be fulfilled throughout one's life and must be established even in the times of fear. Allah said, guard strictly 5 obligatory salawat, especially the middle salah. So what is the middle salah? Middle salah here talking about Asar salah. Stand before Allah with submission. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about submission, so like at the time of salah, what we do, we don't talk, right? So that is the submission. Completely when we are slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are submitting towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the ibadah. And the ibadah is in a complete manner how we can do the ibadah. And we have learned how the ibadah should be. And also in this we have seen and stand before Allah with submission and do not speak to others. Do not speak to others means at the time of Salah, do you speak Allah with submission and do not speak to others during the Salah. If you fear an enemy, perform Salah on foot or riding. We have seen this hadith, and in this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly mentioned even at the time of fear, خِفْتُمْ فَرِجَالًا أَوْ رُكْبَانًا. At the time of fear also you should pray, no matter what. So many times you have seen, when we are in a on a foot or a journey, that time also we have to pray. Just a minute, let me make sure the our voice is okay or something wrong with it. So here some voice issue, I think. Let me check that. Is voice okay now? Okay. So here, Alhamdulillah, it's okay. Let me continue. So at the time of fear also you have to pray. So many times you have seen, like, uh, when we are on the journey, or when we are, like, non-Muslims are surrounding us, then also don't hesitate yourself, just to make pray, and for that you should be in wudu. Make sure, like, wherever you find the restroom, you do your wudu and you can good to go. But there are certain things you have to take care of, that, make it short and do the small surahs and do it properly. It doesn't mean that, you are doing it very hastily. It doesn't mean that, but the thing is, do it properly, how the arkan should be. And also we learn Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, order your children to be punctual in salah when they attain the age of 7. When they attain the age of 10, hit them for abandoning Salah and provide them with separate beds. So, negligence in the matter of Salah is kufr, infidelity. And Prophet ﷺ said, the covenant which is between us and them, the disbeliever, is Salah, and whoever abandoned it, it has disbelieved. Already we have done this. And he said, between a person and disbelief and a shirk is forsaking Salah, because of the laziness or because of the hesitation. Hesitation in sense, many times at workplace, meeting is going on one after another, even though sometimes you do work from home. And these days, as you see, the things are different from, like, how it used to be normally. So you are working from home, you get so much engrossed into the one meeting after another, but you have to take a pause for 5 to 10 minutes and do your salah on time, because that is the difference between a disbelief and a believer. So we want to be counted as a believer, so do your salah on time. It won't take much time. When you go to washroom, just do your wudu and do the for further, or whatever the obligatory salah at that moment of time, just do it that. And also we learn in that, at the age of by the age of 7, our children should learn salah. If they don't, we should tell them more strictly, we should train them nicely. And also we learn in that hadith, separate their beds. And that's the thing, even for the boy, girl, doesn't matter, separate the bed. If you don't have the, luxury of having separate beds, at least you can keep something in between to separate those beds. Like, some people, they have a big mattress and they don't have separate mattress, so you should have the distance between the two, even though the own sisters or brothers, doesn't matter, because the things what mentioned in Sunnah, we have to do that. And also we have learned, like, whoever guards strictly all the salahs will have the light. And we all need light at the time of the day of judgment. When we pass the test, then we have to cross the bridge, and it's on the Kantara. If we fail, we'll fall in the hellfire. So, evidence of this faith. So, light will be according to your evidence of the faith, and deliverance on the day of resurrection. And whoever does not guard it strictly will have neither light nor the evidence of faith, nor deliverance, and he will be gathered on the day of resurrection with the Haman, Pharaoh, Karun, and Ubay bin Khalaf. And in that hadith, we have seen how they will be gathered, because of pride, like Pharaoh and the Haman, the minister of Pharaoh, and because of the powerful position, he was thinking himself something. And in this world also, there are some people, they think, oh, because of I did this, and I'm getting this. That's not the thing. Allah can give, and Allah restricts it. And also, we have learned Qarun, how boastful he was. If we do the same manner, then earth will swallow up. And also Ubay bin Khalaf, disbelieving a trader. So we have to be careful, like we have to pray, and we pray on the time. Let's start today's lesson, inshallah. Let's start with this hadith. Abu Darda said, my friend Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam enjoined upon me, do not ascribe anything as a partner with Allah, even if you are cut into pieces and burned. So the first thing, Allah tushriku billahi shay'a, do not do shirk. But in qutta'at, even quttiyat, like qata, like doing the thing in pieces, or buhurriqat, like burning, blazing fire. And wala tutraku salah, do not leave, do not tark your salah, do not leave your salah no matter what. So we have to remind ourselves this hadith. And the next thing we learn is do not abandon the prescribed salah. One salah after another. Why we neglect it? Because of sometimes we get so much busy with our children or with our work or the one thing after another. We don't do it deliberately, but here the mention is deliberately doing on purpose. How is it possible that you do it on purpose? Sometimes you get engrossed in so much, like I have seen especially some people, they have habit of playing games, or some people they have a habit of watching TV, one thing after another. So they think now they will get up, now they will get up. Or sometimes we are busy in the like household chores. Just stop for a few minutes, take a pause, do your wudu and do your salah. Inshallah, that will be fine. So do not abandon prescribed salah deliberately. For he who abandoned it deliberately, indeed Allah's protection became free from him. Means Allah will not protect. So here, فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا مُتَعَمَّدًا, doing it deliberately. فَقَدْ bari'at minhu zimma. So Allah is not responsible for you. It means Allah is not giving any protection. Become free from him. And we want protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And next thing, the third thing is wala tashrabil khamr. And here the third thing we learn is, and do not drink alcohol, for it is the key to all evil. So not to drink alcohol. So here literally alcohol, and also there are certain kind of cigarettes and certain kind of sometimes they eat in betel leaf kind of things. That also a kind of alcoholic stuff, but people think that's okay to do that. It's not so. Different kind of cigarettes. Alcohol is the number one, that the literal meaning first way we're gonna take it. But when they do istihad and they take out few more meanings out of it, that's whatever the alcoholic stuff, even the cigarettes, drugs, so on and so forth. Even sometimes people take pills and they are in toxin, and some people they take injection, different kind of some kind of smell also, they smell it, and that kind of drugs and so on and so forth. All the three things. So in this, what we learn, three things. First of all, not prescribe partner with Allah. That is not doing shirk. Look at the words of the hadith. Allah tushriku billahi shay'a. Do not do shirk. Even though in quttiyat, even if you are doing it cut into pieces. Mahurriqat, even you are in the blazing fire. Do not walata tatrakul salah. Do not abandon salah. Do not leave salah. Maktubatan. So do not leave salah, what, no matter what. And muta'ammadan faman tarkaha muta'ammadan. So whoever leave the salah deliberately, so Allah is not responsible that to that person. As I mentioned before, few examples. Better person to person things vary. Sometimes you don't want to, you remember, but the time goes on and you don't even realize it. So don't do it. And wala tashrabil qamar. So not to drink alcohol. Fa innaha miftahul kullu shar. Because that is the key for kullu shar. It is for the key for the all evil. Which thing talking about? About the khamar, about drinking alcohol. Because for it is a key to all evils. And in the narration of Ibn Majah, the next hadith, he who abandons Salah, then surely the responsibility of Allah to forgive him is punished. Means Allah is not going to forgive him. And we all want maghfirah, forgiveness, isn't it? When we are alive, we ask forgiveness. And when we are dead, even people ask forgiveness for us. They say, oh, for that deceased, may Allah forgive him. Isn't it? As soon as some person dies, what we say, Allahumma gfir laha. So that is the thing. We need maghfirah, we need forgiveness. So we should beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't do such things that leads that avenue to the wrong things. We should avoid that. Next hadith, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu narrated that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man taraka salat al-asri faqad habitat amaluhu." He who missed the salah of asr, invalidate. Habitat is from hubut. Hubut is used for an animal who eats more, and because of that, his stomach burst out. Habit. And here, hubut, habita, for wasting. You understand linguistic and literal meaning. So I'm just explaining the word meaning so that you should understand. Man taraka. Taraka is from tara, kaf, tark. If those who speak Urdu, they could understand this tark. The same what you use in Urdu, tark salah, leaving the salah. Asr is asr. Faqad, whoever habited amalhu, their amal, their deed is wasted. Also, Allah the Almighty said while describing the people of the fire. So here in this hadith, first thing is not to leave the asr salah because invalidate his amal. Why is it mentioned about asr salah? Because that time we are so busy, we are doing one thing after the another, and asr salah is the time they are completely one who leave the asr salah as if destruction for them. In the another narration, here it talks about habitat amalahum, your amal will be wasted completely. Waste, many times we do such good amal, such good deeds, but are we saving in the akhirah bank, or just we are invalidating it? We have to take care of that. We have to save in the akhirah bank. Next ayah of the Quran, ما سألكم في السقر قالوا لم نكن من المصلين. What has caused you to enter hell? ما سألكم في السقر. They are asking from Sa'ala في السقر. Why did you enter in the hellfire? قالوا لم نكن من المصلين. They will say, we were not of those who used to perform salah. What they are replying? No, we were not doing salah. We were not praying. So many times, many parents, they say, we are not forcing our children to pray. You should. What is there not to force them? Because you will be asked for it. First of all, give them training by the age of 7 or 10. But if they are not doing after that, you have to tell them in a different manner. Sometimes you have to change your words, sometimes you have to show them practically, so on and so forth. But you have to tell them, even for the spouse. Many people they say, oh, my spouse, they don't pray. I'm talking about both husband and wife. Many wives they say their husband is not praying. Many husbands they say their wives never pray. They don't want to pray. They always apply nail polish and they say, okay, I'm going to remove this nail polish and pray, but they never do that. I'm just giving an excuses the people say. I'm not doing that. I'm not complaining about anyone. That's what I heard. And many people they have this complaint about the nail polish thingy. And nail polish, first of all, they have misunderstanding about halal nail polish. There is nothing like halal because water cannot penetrate through that. If you apply one coat, at least it will be. But why you want to take a guarantee, which is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be asking after those three questions, what did you do? Why didn't you pray? Why you want to take such a big risk? If your wudu is not valid, your prayer is not valid. So why you want to apply nail polish? You can apply in 7 8 days when you are in period. But why you are falling in that fitna? I'm talking about all age. It's not about young. These days, even 60, 70, 80, 90, they all think they are young because they are young at heart. I have no complaint about anyone. I'm not here to judge anyone or complain about anyone. It's their own heart. Nobody is saying to not to think about it. But we have to be serious about our religion. Okay, it's fine. You think you're young, that's your personal thing. I'm no one to tell about it. I don't want to talk about that thing. But the thing is, you have to take care of your religion. Even non-Muslims I have seen, they do certain things, even though their religion is false, they do certain things religiously, even though they didn't know about it. Why they do it? Just for the parents to make them happy. But we are doing for the sake of Allah, to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy, because our ultimate goal is for Jannah. When we are not praying, how can we go to Jannah? How can we uh, have that destination? So it's not like just we are praying and we are not asking our family. It's not so. You have to tell them, you have to change your tone, you have to change your behavior. Sometimes we get very rude upon the people who are not praying. Don't be rude. Try to tell them in a nice manner. Follow the sunnah, how Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be, especially our, like siblings, our spouse, because they don't expect us to rule on them. They don't expect, like we are like dictating things. You understand what I mean? Like sometimes we are not saying in a friendly manner, sometimes we are saying in a belittle manner, like in a mocking way. Oh, you always don't pray. Never ever say that. You say, let's pray, it's time, shall we pray, that kind of thing. Or sometimes you pray in front of them so that it's a reminder. You be consistent and make lot of dua. Inshallah, you will get through. Many times it happens, you keep praying, praying, the other people, they don't pray in your home, whether your siblings or your parents, your own spouse, children. But you feel like, oh, you are very righteous, you are praying, and they are not, and they are bad people. And you become judgmental and you start saying the things, you are kafir, mushrik, so on and so forth. That is the end of the level. Like trying, but then also don't be judgmental. You can't say those things. So be nice, be good, tell them, and make dua. Key thing will be make dua. And try to wake up for the Tahajjud time and make dua for them to pray. Our Anbiya Ikram, all the prophets, they made dua, especially Ibrahim al Islam. He asked, make my children to be doing the prayer, to be the righteous. So what has caused you enter hellfire? They will say, we were not those who used to perform salah. قَالُوا لَكُمْ نَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُسَلِّينَ. And wailul lil musallin. So woe unto those who perform salah. Why this woe to those who perform salah? Why is it so? Now you must be thinking, oh, they are praying again. Why this woe? Why this kalimai hasra? And there's a while is also a destruction and a valley in the hellfire. Allazina hum in salatihim sahun. Salah, but who delay their salah. They are the hypocrites. Hypocrite is like, you can't tag one person, it can be a Muslim too. So these are the signs. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never said he or she is a hypocrite. He explained the signs of the hypocrisy. In the Quran, also, signs of the hypocrisy are mentioned. So it can be in anyone. And look at our Sahaba Ikram, our beloved companions, what they used to check themselves first. Umar Khattab, when talks about hypocrite, he thinks about himself, am I hypocrite or not? What about us? We think, oh, we are not. We have to check ourselves. So here, ما سألكم في السقر قالوا نكن من المصلين. Woe to those who perform salah but who delay their salah. So we shouldn't be delaying our salah. Many times it is on the edge. It can be exception, like sometimes you got late, you went to pick up the children, or so on and so forth. It can be anything. You were engrossed in the work, or you got delayed because of the one thing after another, because Monday to Friday you are busy with the work and also with the home. So you have to do multitasking many times, but you have to make sure no matter what, keep some reminders. And also we have seen like every time salah will be going on in our phones, iPads, and everywhere. So that is also a reminder, isn't it? It's a reminder for us, like this is the time you have to pray. And there are certain apps in that they keep on sending you the reminder, this is the salah time, this is the salah time. And after this salah, we keep on neglecting the, like time goes on, and we think now I'm going to finish this, and now I will get up and do it quickly. Quickly is not the thing. You have to do it properly. Properly is the thing. Do it on time. Sometimes it can delay, once in a week or once in a month it happens, like you have lot of work or something or the other, but not always. Make a habit to do it on time, inshallah. This verse sternly warns against delay in performing salah. Allah has warned against abandoning salah and threatened those who do so with severe torment. And here next we see, then there has succeeded them a posterity who have given up Salah and followed their lust. So they will be thrown into hell. So here the next thing, why they are thrown into the hell, but tabau shahwat. They are following shahwat. Shahwat is like, shahwa, lust, desires. فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ الْغَيَّ. So they will be thrown into the hellfire. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrated, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Muaz bin Jabal. Who was Muaz bin Jabal? He was a Sahaba. He used to go to Yemen to teach the people. He was doing dawah, like how we used to do dawah on the phone and on the different apps, or how we are using the technology. At that time, they used to go personally and do the dawah work. So Muaz bin Jabal, he was going to Yemen. So what Prophet ﷺ is saying here, let's see. You will come to the people of scripture, and when you reach them, invite them to testify that La ilaha illallah. So what he was said to remind them of Tawheed, La ilaha illallah. That is Islamic monotheism. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. And if they obey you in that, so he said this is the prerequisite. If they believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, then if you in that they obey, then tell them that Allah has enjoined on them 5 compulsory congregational salawat to be performed in every day and night. So what is the next thing? Khamsa salawatin fi kulli yawmin wa layla. So they have to perform 5 compulsory khamsa prayer every day and night. It's not like, today was Friday, I did all my salah, today was Monday. No, it's not so. You have to do every day, every time. Many times some people say, my spouse, he only pray on Friday, that to do her prayer, and some children, so on and so forth. The list is endless. Even the old people, they never pray. And they say, no, we can't pray because of the laziness, because of the, if you have certain kind of ailment, then also you can do the tayammum and do the salah. Even while lying on the bed also, salah is compulsory, until unless if your mind is not working, if you are not in a condition to pray, you are in coma or so on and so forth. If they obey you in that, then tell them that Allah has enjoined on them sadaqah. What is that? Compulsory sadaqah. Once in every year, zakat, to be taken from the rich amongst them and given to the poor amongst them. If they obey you in that, then be cautious don't take their best properties as zakah. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying, even if they give it, don't take the best of the best and be afraid of the curse of an oppressed person. Means do not do any oppression on anyone. Do not do zulm, oppressed person, as there is no screen between his invocation and Allah. So oppressing anyone is not the part of the Islam. So واتقي دعوة مظلوم فإنه ليس بينها وبين الله حجاب. So never do any oppression on anyone because there will be no screen between his invocation and Allah. So in this, what we learn, so Muaz bin Jabal, he was going to Yemen. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the first thing he mentioned was La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. If they believe in that, then ask them for 5 compulsory salawat. It's not salah, it's salawat, means 5, plural. In Arabic, there is one wahid, tasniya, and jam. And wahid means one, tasniya means dual, two. But more than 2000 and more, it will be jam. It will be plural. So salawat is plural. So 5 day and night compulsory obligatory prayer. But if Allah gives you tawfiq, you can do tahajjud prayer too. Never ever think that I'm too young, I'm too old, or so on and so forth. Never give any reasons. There is no age limit for the, prayer. Especially when we are young, we are so youthful. You can do more and more and more. Alhamdulillah, you have that energy. Give your 100% to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this world, we love so many people. Like, every person to person vary. But above all, we should love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much. But when we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we gonna express it? In the worldly things, we give flowers, we write it, we send emoticons, and we give nice gifts. What about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah has asked this, do this, do not do this. So we're gonna do 5 obligatory salah because that's the amr, that is the imperative Allah asked us to do. And the next thing was sadaqah, that giving the zakat, and also asked not to oppress the people because if you oppress, because you are on a certain position. When we are given certain position, it's quite possible you may misuse that position. You understand that? If you misuse that position, there will be curse because you're oppressing somebody, you're hurting somebody, you're doing zulm, injustice, and there will be no screen between the invocation of that person and in between Allah. Some people, they think they can oppress non-Muslim. No, they can oppress animals, birds. No, none. Do not oppress anyone for Allah's sake. So we're going to do one more hadith and then we're going to start our today's topic about Jannah. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the first deed for which a man will be called to account on the day of resurrection will be his salah. If it is found to be good, you did all the 5 salah, you did tahajjud, so on and so forth, he will be saved. Like, you are good and successful. But if it is defective, God forbid, if it is defective, he will be unfortunate and a loser. And if any shortcoming is found in the obligatory salah, fard salah, there is shortening in the fard salah. So what Allah will do? Look at this hadith. The glorious and exalted Lord will call to see whether his slave has offered any voluntary salah. You understand voluntary salah? Nawafil. If you did voluntary salah, any nawafil, so that the deficiency in the obligatory salah may be made up by it. You understand? That nawafil will be taken and put on the fard. Then the rest of his action will be treated in the same manner. I hope you understand. The first thing will be asked will be about on the day of resurrection will be salah. If it is good and everything is did time and the way it has to be done, so he or she will be saved. If it is and successful. If it is defective, he or she will be unfortunate, but any shortcoming that can be fulfilled with the nawafil, what are the nafil prayers you are doing it, so that will be fulfilled from that. And in this, I want to clear one more thing before ending this today's class. Many people, they don't do obligatory salah and they say I'm doing tahajjud, and they miss fajr, they miss duhar, they sleep, sleep, sleep. By the time they wake up, it's asr time. So that's not the thing. You are missing the obligatory salah. We have to do 5 obligatory salah. And Alhamdulillah, if you are continuous, then you can do plus more. Tahajjud prayer, nawafil, doing the wudu, and doing the 2 rakah of wudu, and charged, ishraq, so on and so forth. You can do many. You get the opportunities to do more good. And one of the signs of being steadfast to do more good. And Allah will give you tawfiq to do more good, inshallah. So today's topic about hadith is Jannah. Jannah is surrounded by the makari, and it's not cheap. Jannah is very expensive. Jannah is not cheap. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Jannah is surrounded by hardship, and hellfire is surrounded by wishes and desires. Real love means helping each other attaining Jannah. If you are doing righteous thing, you can ask other person to do the righteous. And Jannah is surrounded by hardship and fire is surrounded by desire. We want to follow one desire after another, isn't it? Because that is how the hellfire is surrounded. So Jannah is surrounded by adversity and hellfire is surrounded by lust. This was narrated in Sahih Muslim. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, high ranks cannot be achieved except with trials. This was said by Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayh. High ranks can't be achieved except with trials. It doesn't mean one shouldn't ask for the trials. Always make dua, Allahumma inni as'aluka fi dunya wal akhirah. So afiyata, Allahumma inni as'aluka afiyata fi dunya wal akhirah. Always ask for afiyah. And Allahumma inni as'aluka jannatul firdaus a'udhu billahi minan nar. But the key thing, you should ask afia. Never ask for the trials, turbulence. If they come, then ask dua for the sabr, patience. But never ask dua for patience because more trials and turbulence. You can ask dua for the afia. The path to Jannah is surrounded by difficulty and hardship. So here, Jannah is surrounded by hardship and the hell is surrounded by desire. This was narrated by Nawawi. Imam Muslim begins the chapter of Sahih entitled the Book of Jannah, Book of Paradise, its description, its bounties, its inhabitants, and the following hadith also mentioned. Jannah is surrounded by hardship and hellfire is surrounded by desires. This is narrated Muslim, Tirmidhi, and Bukhari with different wordings. Imam Nawawi, in his commentary in Sahih Muslim, wrote the following hadith. And in his statement, Jannah is surrounded by hardship and hellfire is surrounded by desire. This is the narration of Muslim with the word surrounded, and surrounded is replaced in the narration of Bukhari with veiled. And both of these wordings are authentic, Sahih. And the scholar said the beautiful analogy is from exquisite, eloquent, and comprehensive speech which was bestowed on Prophet ﷺ. It means that nothing will help you to reach Jannah except going through hardship, and nothing will lead you to hellfire except whims and desires. Both are veiled as described, so whoever tears down the veil will reach what is hidden behind it, down by going through the hardship, and the veil of hellfire is torn down by giving it to the whims and desire. And hardship includes striving in ibadah, worship, preserving upon that, and sabr in the face of hardship, restraining one's anger, forgiving and having long suffering him, giving voluntary charity, giving and doing ihsan, excellent behavior with those who mistreat you. So these are the things mentioned. So let's see few hadith regarding this matter. And it has so much detail. And here, one of the narration, it's mentioned here. Let's see the following hadith. Here, Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu narrated Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, Allah the Exalted and Glorious said, I have prepared for my righteous servant which no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, no human heart has ever perceived, but it is testified by the book of Allah, that is Quran. He then recites, no soul knows that comfort has been concealed from them as a reward for what they did. If you do Amal Saleh, so Iman with the Amal Salih, then only you will have it. So here different narrations has been mentioned. The only the few wordings has been changed in the other narration. In the same, the narrator is Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Sahal bin Sa'd as-Saidi reported, I was in the company of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he gave a description of Jannah, and then Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam concluded with these words, there would be bounties which the eye has not seen, and the ear has not heard, and no human heart has ever perceived them. He then recited this ayah. This is in Surah number 16 and 17. Uh, they forsake their beds, calling upon their Lord in fear and in hope, and spend out what we have given them, so no soul knows what refreshment of eyes is hidden for them, a reward for what they did. So this is mentioned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about it in this is in Surah Sajda ayah number 16 and 17. And also we see there is in Jannah a tree under the shadow of which a rider can travel for 100 years. And even then he would not be able to cover it. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, Paradise, there is a tree in Jannah, under the shadow of which a rider can travel for 100 years. These are authentic narrations. The hadith has been narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah through another chain of transmitter with the addition of these words, he will not be able to cover the distance. And another narration, this is narrated by Sahal bin Sa'd, reported Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, in Jannah there is tree under the shadow of which a rider can travel for 100 years without covering the distance completely. This hadith also been transmitted on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam reported to have said, in Jannah there is a tree under the shadow of which a rider of a fine and swift foot horse would travel for 100 years without covering the distance completely. There would be the pleasure of Allah for the inmates of Jannah. He would never be annoyed with them. In this dunya, many times it happens with inmates, we get annoyed, but there is no annoyance over there. And next, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah would say to the inmates of Jannah, O dwellers of Jannah, and they would say in response, at thy service and pleasure, our Lord, the good is in thy hand. He, Lord, would say, are you well pleased now? They would say, why should we not pleased? Allah is asking, O Lord, then thou hasn't given us, thou hasn't given to any of thy creature. He would, however, say, may I not give you something even more excellent than that? They would say, O Lord, what thing can be more excellent than this? He would say, I shall cause my pleasure to alight upon you, and I shall never be afterward annoyed with you. So that is the plus thing. When you attend the Jannah, inshallah, Allah, we can have the countenance of Allah, Wajhallah. So the inmates of Jannah would see the inmates of upper apartments as are seen in the planets in the sky. And this authentic hadith, Sahal bin Sa'd reported that Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying, inmates of Jannah will look to the upper apartment, upper chamber of paradise, Jannah. You see the planets in the sky, and narrated hadith to Noman bin Abi Aish, and he said, I heard Abu Sa'id al-Khudri saying, as you see the shining planets in the eastern and western sides of the horizon, that's how they will be seen. Then the more thing, he would love to have a glimpse of sacred face of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, even at the cost of his whole property and family. You want to spend the whole thing. Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu narrated, the people must love by me from amongst my ummah would be those who would come after me, but everyone amongst them would have a keenest desire to catch a glimpse of me, even at the cost of his family and wealth. We have learned in Surah Al-Jumu'ah also, Akhareen, who have not seen me. So the later one, talking about the Ummah who has not seen Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but they will be loving him so much. And there is a street in Jannah where the inmates of Jannah would get favor and grace. And here Anas bin Malik reported that Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, in Jannah there is a street to which they would come every Friday. The north wind will blow and would scatter fragrance on their faces, on their clothes, and would add to their beauty and loveliness. And they would go back to their family after having added luster to their beauty. This narration, I have doubt on this because I don't see the complete narration of this. So there is a chain of narration. I didn't get it properly for the previous one. The sixth thing, the first group that would be admitted to Jannah would be like a face of the full moon and description of their qualities and their spouses. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam reported that some person states with a sense of Jannah and some discuss whether there would be more men in Jannah or more women. It was upon this that Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, that Abu al-Qasim means Rasulullah sallallahu a member of the first group to get into Jannah, who the Rasulullah sallam, would have their faces as bright as full moon during the night, and next to this group would be their face as the bright as shining star. Every person would have two wives, and the marrow of their shanks would glimmer beneath the flesh of there would be none without a wife in Jannah. And next thing, there are more, I'm just narrating which are more authentic. And the description of Jannah and remembrance of Allah by its inmates morning and evening. So here Imam B. Muniba reported there some of the hadith which Abu Huraira reported from Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One is that he is reported to have the member of the first group that would be admitted to Jannah would have the faces as bright as full moon during the night. It is the same as we have seen the previous. They would neither spit nor suffer. They don't do spit or suffer or nor any excretion. They would have their utensils and their combs made of gold and silver, and the fuel of their braziers would be aloes, and the sweet would be, and even the sweat, what we excrete, the sweat, it will be smell like a musk. And every one of them would have two spouts so beautiful that the marrow of their shanks would be visible. Have you seen somebody who is very white skin? You can see the marrow of the shanks. That's how it will be. There would be no dissensions amongst them, no enmity in their hearts. Their heart would be like one heart. You know, that they have so much love and affection. That's what it talks about. And the everlasting bliss for the inmates of Jannah. Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu narrated, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he who would get into Jannah would be made to enjoy such an everlasting bliss that he would neither become destitute nor would his clothes wear, nor his youth would decline. You will be young forever, and your clothes will not tear, will not, get dirty or anything. That's how the things will be. And the description of the tenants for the inmates of Jannah, Abu Bakr Abdul bin Qais reported on the authority of his father that Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, in Jannah there would be a tent made of a single hollowed pearl. The breadth of would be 60 miles from all sides, and there would live a family in each corner, and that would not be able to see the believers who goes around. This is the chain has not mentioned properly for this hadith too, so I'm not sure about that. So but the title, it's correct here in this. I have few hadith and not this one, the previous one, this one, regarding the description of tenants for the inmates of Jannah. We have the mention, few ayahs mentioned regarding that in the Quran, and Ashabul Jannah and Ashabul, Nar. In that, in the description of Jannah, we have seen how the inmates would be, and what rivers of the world would be found in Jannah. We have seen this in Suratul Muhammad also, four kind of river in that. Here in this narration, Abu Huraira reported Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Sihan, Jihan, Euphrates and Nile are all among the rivers of Jannah. But there we have seen in the Surah Muhammad, like, there are four kinds, honey, milk, and also alcohol, and there are four rivers will be there, milk and honey and alcohol, and this will be there in Jannah, and you will be provided with that in the Jannah. And there would enter Jannah some people whose hearts will be like those of birds. And we have seen this in, the narration regarding this was the people who are Shaheed martyrdom. They will be like birds chirping in the Jannah. So Abu Huraira reported Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying, Allah the Exalted said, created Adam in his own image with his length of 60 cubit. He told him to greet that group, and that was a party of angels sitting there. And listen to the response they gave him, for it would be his greeting, that of offspring. Then went away and said, peace upon you. The angel said, may there be peace upon you, and the mercy of Allah, they made an addition, mercy of Allah. So he would get into Jannah, would get into the form of Adam, his length being 60 cubits, and the people who followed him continued to diminish in the size to this day. And right now we see like the average length is not more than six or something, six or more, max can be 6.5 or 7. The description of heaven and intensity of its heat and torment we have seen in different ayahs of the Quran, inshallah. In the next class, we're going to see the more detail of the ayahs of the Quran regarding Jannah and hellfire, and also we'll see the detail of it. Here in this, Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu reported Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hell would be brought on the day of judgment, with 70 bridles, and every bridle would be controlled by 70 angels. And there are few more hadith regarding that. And here later we see the haughty and the proud, boastful people, arrogant, they get into the fire of hell. And the humble and meek would get into the Jannah. Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu narrated, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, there was a dispute between the hell and the Jannah and paradise. The haughty and the proud would find abode in me, and the paradise sea, the meek and the humble would find their abode in me. Thereupon Allah the Exalted and Glorious, addressing the hell, said, you are means of my punishment, which I punish those of my servant whom I wish. And addressing the paradise, he said, you are only my mercy, by means of which I shall show mercy to those whom I wish, but each one of you will be full. And here there are a few more things regarding this. And the Jannah detail, inshallah, will end here, pertaining to the destruction of the world and assembling on the day of resurrection. So, here on the day of resurrection, we all have to assemble. So Allah will decide who will go to Jannah and Jahannam. So inshallah we'll see detail of that in upcoming classes. So today we have started from how the Jannah and Jannah is not easy, it's not cheap. Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Paradise is surrounded by hardship, and the hellfire is surrounded by wishes and desires." So we have to strive hard in this world to attain the Jannah, because Jannah is surrounded by adversity and hellfire is surrounded by lust. So we have to try our utmost to get this Jannah. So for striving hard, what we have to do, we have to do the righteous good deeds that will be acknowledged by Quran and Sunnah, not like what we think good. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that is good, that thing we have to do, not what we think is good. So here we'll end our topic of Jannah. Inshallah we'll continue. Jannah is surrounded with makari, with the hardship and difficulties, and hellfire is surrounded with the lust. We end here. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika.